climbed in through the window. I didn't think I would escape. I was just frozen, helpless. Nothing I could do.
That property is a pretty remote property. It's several acres.
I could hear his footsteps, and they were getting closer. The evil in his eyes I'd never seen before.
Potential suspects were whittled down.
Hello guys, welcome to Chasing a Murderer, Talking News with Debbie. Guys, please subscribe and like right now. Hit that notification if you like notification bell. So we're on this case with Suzanne Morphew, the 49-year-old mother that went missing on Mother's Day, and she's still missing. So there's some new information coming out saying that police are asking the neighbors in the area for video from their security cameras on the dates of May 8th to May 12th. Now, according to what we knew when this story came out, well, Suzanne on Mother's Day seemed to be alone and she was going bike riding. She lives in Colorado, and so it's a really rough terrain area, really. I mean, I kind of checked it out. I shared it on the video posted before this one. And there's hiking trails near where she lives. Her husband wasn't home. We don't know why he wasn't home, but he was 150 miles away when she decided to go for a bike ride that Mother's Day. What we did learn is police did locate her bike, but they did not share how they found it. We heard a few rumors that there's a possibility that the bike was found leaning against a tree. And a few days after that, we found out that they actually found an item that belonged to Suzanne about 2,000 feet away from her home. However, police did not share anything else about that item, so we don't know what it is or, how, this item is linked to her. I mean, it could be something off the bike, it could be a cup, it could be a phone, we just don't know. And because the cops are treating it, they're really tight-lipped on this, and I think they are very focused in this case. That's a good sign, guys. That means they might even have an idea of what happened to her. We do know that they had a lot of searchers out there searching and canvassing the area. They even had divers just going through all the waterways that are near her home. Really haven't come up with anything else that we know of anyways. We do know that the dogs supposedly didn't pick up a scent, and some people are saying if she was on a bike it would be hard for the dog to pick up the scent, but it doesn't matter really because she's not on that bike 100% of the time, so the dogs could track her to the point she get on the bike at least, and maybe even track something where she got off the bike. But that's kind of concerning because the dogs aren't picking up anything that we're, like I'm saying, guys, that we are aware of. So there's a few red flags right there. Let me go over this entire timeline real quick with you guys. So Mother's Day is May 10th. Suzanne Morphew, who is 49 years old, is at her home when she allegedly went on a bike ride. At some point that evening, a neighbor becomes concerned for some unknown reason, we're not sure why, and calls the police around 5:45 p.m. on Sunday and reports her missing. Now, the area that she lives in Colorado is called Maysville, and in that area, according to what we are finding, we know at this point, guys, with news stories, it can change, 100 things can change. So she went missing in the area of County Road 225 and West Highway 50 west of Maysville, Colorado, and that was on Sunday. That same day, her husband, Barry Morphew, was, I'm sorry, guys, I don't know if I said Dallas earlier. I'm starting to get these mixed up a little bit. I do a lot of these cases. But anyways, let me make that correction right now. He was only 150 miles away from her in Denver, but we don't know why he was in Denver. At least I don't. Now, we're hearing that the bike was recovered on May 10th. Don't know what time that happened. And the bike was recovered by the Chaffee County Sheriff's Department. We also know that the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office says that they received that call about a missing woman that, like I mentioned earlier, at 5:45 p.m. and that neighbor had told them that Suzanne had gone for a bike ride and never returned home. The neighbor also said her husband was away at the time, and we don't have any clue as to what time this neighbor said that she left, or even if she knows, or he or she. I don't know who it is. Now, when this story first emerged and they were giving us details and telling us that the bike was found, they just wouldn't give us details of the condition of this bike or how they found it. So on May 13th, the sheriff's office had a press release. So sorry if I can speak, guys. Wednesday night, the sheriff's office released what they call a new update. So they said over the past 4 days, over 100 search personnel, a Chaffee County search and rescue, as well as the TAC team, have scoured the entire area. So they used drones, dogs, and countless other things trying to search for missing Suzanne Morphew. He really didn't have many details to share. So John Spazey, the Chaffee County Sheriff, said that they were looking for tips and that they've already had several tips at that time that they were looking into. On May 14th, the police find an item that belongs to Suzanne that we mentioned earlier, about 2,000 feet from her home. But police do not give you details as to what that item is. So, also on this day, Suzanne's nephew, Trevor Noel, is helping to search groups. He's getting online. He's on foot in Colorado. He's trying his best to find his aunt. Trevor even spoke with Dateline on the family's behalf. He said, quote, "Everyone involved in this search, we just want her back so bad." He continues to say that we want her back because she is just the bright light in all of our lives, end quote. Also, during this time, they were shutting down like the Monarch Pass, and I think that was on Friday, for crews to search, I think, a 2.5-mile radius. This included nearly 90 investigators. That's a lot, guys. So later on that day, we found out that they kind of give us a clue where they found that item that supposedly belongs to Suzanne. So they said it was found just west of the County Road 225 and Highway 50. And so that's what led investigators to focus that area. So it was definite that this item ended up having them to reevaluate their plans based on the new information that they received. So on May 17th, the family and investigators have been searching for Suzanne 7 days now. So we also learned that the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, so CBI, the Salida Police Department, as well as the FBI, have joined in to help in this investigation. So in between May 17th and May 19th, the investigators are focused on reaching out to the community to aid in the search for Suzanne Morphew. So the sheriff of that county says, he needs the videos from the neighbors, but he's also kind of asking them to hang on to them for a period. He says, quote, "One of the most helpful ways the community can aid in the search for Suzanne is by preserving these recordings. We are aware that some systems override video after several days, and we want to ensure the video remains available if needed," end quote. So while the searchers are out there searching, Suzanne's husband is he's getting a little bit of backlash. Of course, that's normal. That everybody knows a missing person. Who's going to be the number one suspects? And that's going to be the people closest to her. And that includes her husband, Barry. So Barry had put up a $100,000 reward with no strings attached. He's saying you can just Tell us where she's at, what happened, and you can collect the money and you don't have to answer any other questions. Now, a friend of the family also matched that $100,000, put it at a total of $200,000 for a reward for anything that can lead to finding Suzanne. Also, her husband posted on Facebook a pretty emotional plea saying that he would do whatever it takes to get her back. And so here's that video.
Out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you.
So, okay, immediately people were making comments about this. And, you know, I have comments too that I could make about that, but I don't know for certain. I mean, I'm looking at him and I see him struggling with something emotionally. I'm also seeing him struggle to tell the story. He's kind of fumbling over his words out of panic. So he could be nervous for doing the video, or if he was involved with this, there's another reason to be nervous, but we don't know. One thing I do recognize is there's not a lot of emotion that I would expect from somebody that has a missing relative. But then again, everybody's different and they handle things differently. So it's easy to pass judgment and it's easy to suspect. Everybody does it when cases like this. But that's where we have to remember we need the evidence before we crucify. So hard as it is, we try not to crucify who we suspect, and I even have my suspicions with this guy. So we know that she has 2 daughters, and those 2 daughters aren't really coming out in public, so we don't know how they're handling this very well, but we do know that the police have gone to her house, and so this is very interesting. They have taken over the house, and the residents, the people who live there, are not allowed inside until they're through investigating. Now, one of our family members, Dolly, she left a comment saying, and I haven't had time to research into that. I did a little bit, but I didn't find anything, saying that Barry might have hired an attorney, but I haven't found that. So I wanted to share that just in case. But as for, you know, Barry's body language, his demeanor, his emotions, and what we see, his animation, something wasn't right, but I don't know what it is. It just seemed like he was really focusing very hard to focus his eyes into one area. It was kind of like watching the Chris Watts, for me, interview when he was with media. It's that Chris Watts' eyes would kind of focus downward in a way, but still the same, you can feel the same pressure from, you know, Chris Watts' interview and Barry's. I mean, I feel like it's kind of alike, but that's my personal opinion. All right, guys, so I just want to do a little bit of an update on this case and let you know that police are zeroing in on something. That is evident. We just don't know what it is. So I suspect that we should find out something else, hopefully pretty soon. But if they're really super tight-lipped, we might not find out anything until there's an arrest made, which I've seen happen multiple times. So guys, let's just hope that Suzanne is okay. I was hoping for a happy ending with this case. I'm hoping for a happy ending with all of them. But since it was only, 8 days now, I was thinking there was just a little hope there. So we still have the Lori Vallow case. I'm working hard on that every single day, guys. Every single day. And so I'm not able to put as much into these other stories that I'm doing. It's just not enough time in the day. So I think what I'm going to do is take a break for the rest of the day and possibly even tomorrow if I can, because I'm not good at it. And then I guess I'll see you guys after that. So anyways, let's hope that Suzanne can come home safely, send their family love, Send them support. And we're still thinking of so many that are missing. All right, guys. See you soon.